Okay, folks, welcome back to my simple cooking channel. And once again, everything's going to be organic. Right now, I'm just gonna like scramble some eggs, basically. Well, I guess I'm not gonna really scramble them, but we'll figure it out as we go. But for those of you who may be new to the cooking thing and you'd like to do your own, perhaps this channel is for you. Once again, everything I use is going to be organic. It's always best if you can grow it yourself, including eggs. If you can grow your own eggs, that's great, because then you know more about what's going into it. But if you don't have that ability, just buy organic. Now I put some oil in there, and what I'm using right here is olive oil. But from what I've been hearing, reading, researching, whatever, ghee or clarified butter. And they're not the same. They're kind of close to the same, but they're not the same. But either one would be actually a better um, um, way to grease my pan for cooking, because apparently it has a higher heat tolerance, or whatever you would call it. So, okay, I've started that up. Make sure I've got the right burner on. I do that sometimes. I'll turn on the wrong burner, and that's not helpful. So I'm going to get my eggs out of here. This one apparently got damaged. It's stuck in there, so we'll just put that aside. Heating up my pan. Of course, when you're heating up oil, don't leave the room. Make sure you know what your oil is doing. And get a couple more of these. I'm going to get 4 out. That's what I'm going to be doing right now. And once again, this is simple cooking, because not everybody is born knowing how to, say, cook fresh string beans or cook an egg or whatever. I mean, we got to learn these things. So if you're someone who's decided you want to go for as fresh as you can instead of restaurant food, and you don't know really where to begin, this channel may be for you. I like to keep things simple, just because simple usually means I can get it done quicker. And I'm very busy, so quicker is better for me. What I'm doing now is I'm pouring the oil around as it gets hot here to coat the inside of the pan, certainly the flat area, but also up the sides a little bit, because it'll make it easier to clean if my egg isn't sticking to the sides of my pan. Speaking of sticking, as I mentioned, organic is best for sure. If you can grow it yourself, all the better. And don't use, what do you call it, non-stick cookware. It's just a bad idea. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Even if it says new and improved, this doesn't have the bad chemical that may totally destroy you in 20 years or whatever. Don't use it, because in 20 years they're gonna figure out, oops, okay, well, it turned out that was a bad chemical too. So just ideally, don't use it. Just coat your pan with oil, and use whatever elbow grease is needed to just clean it. So I go for stainless steel, and I'm not going to use plastic either. So here we go. I've heated it up. What am I going to do now? No, I should have already done this part. So ideally, just have your eggs broken into your bowl first. That way there, when your pan is ready. And yeah, I think I'm going to start just going with the ghee thing for cooking, since I really did just recently read about that. The higher smoke point or something like that. I forget exactly what it's called. The microphone app I'm using allows me to use my earbud. That's what you should be hearing me on. Okay, so now I'm going to take this off for a second, because my pan's already ready for it. Now all I'm doing now is sticking my fork in here You know, depending on what you want to do with your diet, pouring a little cream in there right now might be good. Something like this. I have some adobo seasoning. I'll throw that in there. A little bit of that, and yeah, organic, of course. Once again, ideally, I would make the seasoning myself. Something I may look into in the future, and hopefully someday I'll be able to make a garden and actually go from there. Years ago, I had a garden. Not where I'm living now, though. I lived up on a small mountain in northern Maine, and it definitely has some garden stuff going on. We're talking decades ago. So as you can see, I'm beating my egg, just using a fork, nothing fancy, just whipping it about, just like that. I'm gonna put my pan back on the heat, and just to see if it's ready, I can put a little drop. It cooled down a bit, so it is sizzling. It is sizzling a little bit there, but I'm gonna let it heat up a little bit more. And beat, 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 beat. Yeah, you could pour like some cream in here if you wanted to. You could put some vegetables in here if you wanted to. You know, even say shredded cheese. Once again, depending on what you're doing with your diet. So let's see. This is probably fine now. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Okay. Got that going. I'm going to turn this down a little bit. Don't want to burn it. And I'm going to get this little piece of spatula here and just do one of these. I don't know if you can see that, just to get all that out. Okay. And once again, this is simple cooking. Perhaps someday I'll graduate to more complex, but at this time, this is it. So I'm going to start doing like this. Okay. And yeah, I don't really want to do the completely scrambled thing, so I think I'll just stop right there. If I had some sliced cheese, I could just lay it in there now and then take one side after a few minutes, just a few minutes, and fold it over and then get a spatula and flip like that. And it's important that I don't burn my egg. So I've turned it down, but it's still cooking. So I want to make sure I don't burn it. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get a cover because that's going to hold the heat in and get it to cook more on top. I was thinking of folding some cheese into it, but I don't actually have any more of that right now. So we're going to just go with it like that. Perhaps I should pause it. No, I'm not going to pause the video because it's just not going to take that long. This just doesn't take that long. And so let's get my spatula. Once again, don't use plastic. Don't use plastic. Okay, it's not really ready yet. But I don't want to burn it either. So let's see what's going on there. Just kind of wiggling it underneath, giving it a flip. Just gave it a little flip. I think you saw that. And okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to shut that off. I'm going to cover it again. I'm going to set my timer. Now, you experiment, but don't leave it there too long because you don't want it burned. I'm just setting my timer for 1 minute on my watch, and then I'm going to give it a flip. I've shut it off, but it's still very hot. Now, okay, I've mentioned a few things. Go organic if you can, where you live, get chickens and feed them completely organic. Let them eat bugs. Chickens love bugs, and it makes for a really good egg. Don't use any kind of, what's it called? Hi, sweetheart. Whoop. That one goes there and that one goes there. Just talking to my daughter. Yeah, she got some pretty shoes on. So yeah, don't use any nonstick pans for the reasons that I've mentioned. I think I mentioned that in this video. And use wooden utensils or metal utensils. And my timer's about to go off, so I'm going to give this a flip right now. Boom, like that. Okay, let's close that up. It's a little darker than I would have liked, but it's still totally passable. So I'm going to shut off my timer, and we're going to call that good. Okay. Thank you for joining me. And from here, I could cut it up or do whatever I want with it. And at this point, I am gonna take that right off the heat because I already know it's going to be too much if I leave it there. It's shut off, but I definitely needed to take it off the heat just to let it settle for a few minutes before I actually bring it out. Okay, don't use nonstick. Use wooden utensils or metal utensils. What else do I want to say? Oh, cooking with a flame is actually even better yet. Apparently, vibrationally, electric messes with food, right? But I mean, it's what I got. This is what I got. And whatever you do, don't nuke your food. I mean, there's too many reasons to even talk about it. Just don't do it. Okay, that's it. Please like, subscribe, and share. Hope you found this interesting. And happy cooking.